you have the basketball, I can see you handling that ball. You looking, but you're looking for Steve.
Right.
Steve coming off screens on the baseline.
Yeah.
He's caught up. You hit, I think it was Daryl Thomas, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like when you hit him, you like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have threw that, and you went back to get it. Like when something happened, he ended up throwing it back to you anyway because he knew he wasn't supposed to have it. So take us to that last play before you elevated and hit that shot, man.
Well, I tell you, you know, when as we got down to that moment, you talked about a timeout. We didn't call a timeout.
Okay.
So we never got in that position to where and I know from coaching now, sometimes when you call a timeout for a particular play, players will have a tendency to look at only what you talked about.
Yes, yeah, true.
They won't look at the whole picture of what will the defense. And as you know, our motion offense was revolved around you making the right play when the right play needed to be made. So what was available, that's what you went with. So as we came down the floor and got ready into the motion part of it, again, the time is ticking and people's like, are they going to get a shot off? Will they get a shot off? But we're not thinking that way. We didn't rush anything. We stayed into motion, watched Steve ran his routes. You know, he wasn't open, you know.
Routes.
Run routes, man. You know, that's what he was doing, man. And he did his thing. He wasn't open. We didn't try to force a pass to make a play to him. And I was always kind of myself and Callaway, after we looked at Steve and what he was going to be able to do, then of course if Callaway was on the floor, but he wasn't, I would look at him to see what he was going to do next. And then when that play broke down, we looked to go inside to Daryl or D. And that's what I did. I went into Daryl. And when they didn't have anything, the discipline, they would throw it back out. You know, play. And it worked out just like that. And I remember Ron Fellings, and Ron Felling would always say, you know, two things that he would always get on me about. If a player got the ball and I was defending, how'd he get it? How'd he get it? How'd he get it?
Yeah.
And then the other one was don't stand. And Coach Knight always said, after you pass, don't stand. And when I made the pass, I relocated to a different place.
Yes.
Howard, when the ball went into Daryl, he looked at Daryl. I relocated. He came out to the position where I was. Well, I had already moved to another spot, and that's when Daryl threw the ball back out to me, and I was able to get the shot off. But all those little things there. And another thing that Ron Feld would always talk about on the jump shot was jump up, shoot up.
Yeah.
Jump, shoot up. Like that. And I knew that situation of, because I had taken a shot from the other side of the basket, of the court prior to that. And I knew, I said, man, if I get another shot, I got to jump up on this thing. I got to get some arc on this ball, you know. And when I got the ball back, I took that one step toward Nicholson Elementary, to the baseline, and rose up and took a jump shot and make the shot. And I went out of bounds, you know. Wow. And the ball goes in, and right away, I didn't think of celebration. I was thinking of getting back on defense.
Back on D, I heard you screaming something when they were grabbing you behind. What were you saying?
And if you look at the video, you can see me saying, "We got one more second."
That's what it is. Okay. I ain't know if you saying one more stop or 1 more second. Okay. Yeah,
1 second. They start the clock with 1 second, and I think the clock administrator did that because Syracuse never called a timeout. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
They did, you know, but they really didn't, you know. And I said there's 1 second left, but I knew then that moment that I had seen that I played that game already, and like I said, how was I aware? I just taken the shot. I running back on defense. There's a timeout. This clock finally stopped. There's a timeout administered. And I come back and I was aware there's 1 second.
Yeah, yep.
But I said, being in that zone, everything, you are aware of everything. Yeah, when I go back and look at that game, sometimes I look at the little moments where I got a rebound, push the ball. Derek Coleman is right behind me, slapping at the ball. Had he slapped that ball, it goes into the hands of Syracuse. They secured the basketball. They were already up 1, you know, and now we probably foul them. They go shoot a free throw and what have you, you know. So when I came down in motion to Joe Hillman to go to the right side of the floor, and I made an undercut to go to the left side of the floor. If I would have pushed him down to the corner, and then I came out and moved the ball somewhere else, but to wave him over, and I did an undercut, so I got the ball back, and then I was able to throw it into Daryl Thomas. Yep. And I always joke with Daryl about you know, you didn't want to shoot that shot, man. Why didn't you want to shoot that shot? You know,
Yeah.
but he said, well, hey, man, and he would always say to myself and Dean as a senior, he would always get on us about things. He would say, "You two silly MFs," you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
On any little thing, and he said that wasn't a good shot. You silly MF, you know. And he felt back out. So those little things like that, and the ball was able to come back out to me. And I remember all those things from teaching, from where I was, and that shot happened, and of all the people. And I never forget, there was a statement I was watching with one of my sons, and watching the game, and the guy said, "There's a lot of McDonald's All-Americans on this floor, but there's one guy that actually worked at a McDonald's." You
know? That's crazy, man. I mean, but you hit that shot, and I mean, even after the game, did you realize how different things were going to be for you after you made that shot?
No, I had no idea of the magnitude. And again,
right.
I didn't hear any sound. Like you said, you don't hear sound. You don't hear
nothing.
Anything. I didn't hear anything again until the ball went through the net and I heard the explosion of noise, and had no idea what the moment was and what had happened. You know, prior to that, you had Lorenzo Charles from North Carolina State that tipped the ball in for a championship win. Jordan hit the one shot in the same, with the same jersey on, things like that. Number 20, you know, and so all those moments that came together, I had no idea that this thing would take on a life of its own. You know, no matter where I go, traveling a lot, you know, I might have my name on the bag, or, you know, from coaching in the NBA and traveling, and you know, the bags, bellhop would bring your bags to you in the hotel room, and he would see that, and he would say something to the extent, "Man, I remember that shot. I remember that," you know, and he goes through an entire sequence of what was going on, what he was doing at his house and everything. So many people I've met, and people say, "Do you get tired of talking about it?" I said, you know, I don't get tired of talking about it, because when someone comes up to me to talk about it, I don't want to rain on their moment.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll talk about it with them. There was a guy that I met at the airport, and he said, "Keith, I just want to tell you, man, my daughter and I were watching that game, and she kept bugging me. And I said, wait, when the game is over, I'll talk. We'll play. And he said, I tell you what, if Indiana wins this championship, I'll buy you that horse you want." Right?
Really?
So we won an opponent, you know, and obviously we win the championship. I was doing a speaking engagement somewhere. He came out doing an autograph signing somewhere in Indiana. He came out and he said, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I met you at the airport. I told you the story about my daughter and the horse. Well, there she is right there." So now she's probably now 16, 17 years old now, you know. And he said, and she got the horse right there, you know. And he said, because you made that shot, this young girl was able to get a horse, you know.
That's amazing.